me today, I have Jadeverett and the boy McCoy.
Sir.
Coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to get into some stuff. So let's start by just talking about Twitter as a platform, like all of it, just as a means of expressing ourselves, and also like how you feel about some censorship on Twitter and just the whole thing. So when did you guys first get on?
I've had like 4 Twitters.
Really?
Yeah, like, like kind of like what I'm doing now, like with like, like the whole
Yeah.
whole Phoenix aspect of myself. I did that, like I said, that happened for me in 2009, and I did like what I'm doing now, like that. But it's just like it happened on a bigger level for me. But I deleted that Twitter. I deleted that Twitter like in 2011, and then I got back on Twitter in 2015.
Yeah,
And
you really hit a chord with a lot of people.
oh yeah, it was so random, man. Like that's what a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that like March 2019, I had 1,200 followers.
Damn, you blew up.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, it was because we were just all like, we were, just everyone, like once I got into like the spiritual community, like on Twitter, because it's like I was like low key a part of like rap Twitter, or like that aspect of Twitter, but like I wasn't even really but I was just still kind of doing my own thing on Twitter. But
I think that's like why people resonate with your message. I saw you tweet at some point along the line like that when you first, like when you got on Twitter, like you didn't get on with the intention of like starting a spiritual page or this or that. Like you just came on and started talking your shit, and just like being real about how you feel. And like that's where it's at. Like that's the most spiritual thing you could do from my perspective, is to just kind of authentically express the world as you see it.
Yes, exactly. Because I mean, essentially, because so we're the moon, the stars, the whole universe expressing ourselves as humans. That's the truth of our being. Our deep in our real core. Like those things are not necessarily like above us. We are those things too. Like we are part of everything. So it's like,
I think that's one of those things like we've all heard that like, oh, you're made of stardust, and like we hear all this like corny stuff growing up, and then like I feel like there's at one point like it clicks a different level. You're like, no, like I'm like made of the stuff that like creates the planets, like
that's what
universe.
That's what like, and what I believe is like, as far as like what I believe is my beliefs, like my faith, my spirituality, like my love for God, and just everything else. It's almost like, let's see how to put it. It's just like just radiating love. Like that's the radiating love from like the core of your being. Like that's really just like, I don't know, it's hard to put into words, but that's what's all about.
Yeah,
radiating love, like a Care Bear. You ever seen that?
I got younger siblings. I've seen the Care Bear too, but I saw you said at some point, like at one point you give up seeking as much and you focus on embodying, and I really agree with that. Like I will always be a seeker of knowledge and truth, and like I'll always entertain like that esoteric part of me that like longs for like deeper understandings. But I think like for me, where I found a lot of peace in my life is really just like embodying love, just like treating the people that are put into your path with like kindness and respect. And life is a lot better and more fulfilling when you kind of lock into that mindset.
Yes, that's the only way.
Yeah, Jade, when did you jump on Twitter?
So I've been on Twitter, like I'm an OG on Twitter too. Like I've been on since 2010. I still got my same one, so I'm OG Twitter.
Really God?
Yeah, well, it was a whole different me. Like, like in 2010, 2011, I'm a frat boy in college. Like I'm throwing parties. Like I'm like, you know, I'm using social media to like post our parties and like, you know, just talk a little shit here and there, you know. But I wasn't on there like really talking about nothing. And then so like in 2014, I started like tweeting a little bit more because like that's when I started to awaken. I'm just like, man, something ain't right out here, and like let me just start throwing some ideas out there. Like, man, like just talking about religion because that's kind of where it started for me. And then like I have a similar story to Henry. Like I was on, like I had like 1600 whenever I started, like at the end of 2018. Like I started really, like I was like, man, like let me take this seriously. Like I'm about to start building a business. And I'm like, let me start taking it seriously. So I was like, I'm gonna start tweeting. Like I'm gonna start getting my thoughts out. I'm gonna start like, you know, like sharing what I feel with the world. And so like I learned a lot of love doing that, you know, actually speaking these words out loud and interacting with like-minded individuals like y'all, you know, it's like I'm learning different stuff every day. And it's like, you know, kind of being like Twitter is the universal consciousness. Like Twitter is like raw thoughts, like right there. Like, and it's like me being like an empath, like I feel people's emotions and, you know, like I really crave the esoteric. So I go deep into the emotions and like how like people tweet all the time. And I'm like, you know, and it's like, I'm like, man, I want people to feel better. Like I want people to be better. And so like hearing like people's like grievances and different stuff like that, it like, you know, it kind of like, it affected me. Like, I'm like, dang, this is what people struggle with. Like, I struggle with stuff like this. And I'm like, all right, let me embody this love. Let me be, you know, like, and what I come to find out, like, I'm being a light, you know, like, I'm not, like, thinking about it like that whenever I initially started, like, tweeting. And then, like, a year and a half later, I had, like, 13,000 followers. I'm like, damn, all right, I must be doing something right. Yeah. And so, like, I'm like, let's keep embodying this love, you know, it's like, and even like the tweets, like, yeah, it's full of love, but it's like, sometimes I'm upset tweeting that stuff. Like I'm angry, yeah. Like I'm healing through, like I just had an argument and like, this is the result of what I'm like, what I gotta believe to stay in alignment with where I'm trying to go. And it's like, you people think it's all love and light, but like, nah, it's like, like the darkness is on the inside. And I'm like, all right, I'm processing that, and this is how I transmute it. This is my form of alchemy. Totally. Twitter is my form of alchemy.
I feel that. It's funny that you mentioned that you were just like a frat boy at one point.
Oh yeah, I'm partying, man. We getting lit, like we getting drunk on the weekends.
The peak of my awakening was I was like the social chair of a fraternity. So I was like, I was throwing parties. We were going hard. It was all about like.
Yeah. You ain't think about God. You ain't think about the universe. You ain't think about your inner child. You ain't think about that shit.
No, and then all of a sudden the universe is like,
you had enough fun.
There's some other shit you gotta that matters to you. You know, you gotta rein it in and focus on what's important.
And it's like, you need these experiences, like everything that we went through, it helped us to be to where we are. Like, I feel like my journey with like Christianity, like, and how deep I was in the church, and me being a frat boy, and me being an engineer and actually going through that whole process, and then me being on my spiritual journey for so long, you know, it teaches you so much stuff. And it's like when you actually go and like look at your experiences and like see what decisions you made and how you got to where you are, and it's like, it's crazy like how life is like, it perfectly works out. It gives you a lot of these experiences that you need to manifest and attract the reality and the desires that you truly want.
Totally. Like I think like being like living out those like frat years, college years, like in a way helped me become very comfortable with that like deeper existential side of myself, because like I felt like I conquered that self, you know, and like and then I felt like I was being put in a box by my teachers, by people in my life of like, oh, like this is what we expect from a frat boy, or from like the way you skater punk, the way you dress, whatever. Like this is what we expect. And I was like at a certain point, it's not me. Like
because you know, like this is just the shell, you know.
Yeah.
This is really this is just a shell, and it's like we're the soul within. Like we're not like, you know, just us as ourselves as our bodies. We are beautiful. We're made from like the light of heaven. But then our souls are like are what our essence is. Like that's who we are. Like this is just like our vessel. But
It's
like
just the whip you driving.
this
This
is
is the
just
car. It's
but you,
like
but the
you
thing
got
is
a
you gotta
whip.
take care of it. You gotta take care
Yeah.
you gotta take care of it.
What kind of fuel? What kind of you get your oil change, you know? And it's like that's what you feeding yourself and
Yeah.
like how you take care of your vehicle, your vessel, your body, is a direct, and it's like it's a direct response to how people see you because it's how you see yourself.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as like our avatar,
Yes,
like
it
we're
really
playing the game of
definitely.
life, and like this is the avatar we're working with in this lifetime, and like yeah, you want to put like you want to put vegetables in the tank, you want to work it out, you want like
You
and
want to meditate,
it's a reflection of
yoga.
your spirit too. I think like the
Yeah.
health.
Yes, it's like I think a big part of like, you know, of like growth and just evolving is like someone's ability or inability to give their soul what it wants. It's just like if my soul wants that, there's no question. Soul gets what it wants. You know, like that's the reality of it. It's like you like the desires of your soul. Like what do you really desire? Like your deepest desire. Like if you really want to know someone, you need to just ask them what their deepest desire is. Like whatever your deepest desire is, that's what you are. That was put in into your heart for a reason, you know. And it's like the
Yeah.
universe put that there, God put that there, love put that there. So it's just like pursue that.
I knew that I was gonna own a business and be an entrepreneur from the time I was like 4 or 5 years old. I had like a notepad. I remember it was like my business ideas, and I would just like jot down like a smoothie stand with like whatever, I just like was always in that headspace as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I think like first of all, I think that's where a lot of suffering comes from, is when you choose your conditioning over those desires, over what your heart
Yes.
is asking for.
Yes. Yes.
Man, it's crazy you say that. It reminded me of like when we was talking a little earlier. It was like whenever I was saying like, like, cause it's like I had this exact same experience. Like I was a senior in college, and then I was on my internship for Texas Instruments. Like I'm making good money as an intern, and it's like at the end of that summer, I was like, nah, like. It's like you know when your soul like, nah, don't do that, chief. Like you go the other way, try to find something else. And it's like, you go and try to find it, but it's like that's all you know. That's the only options there. And so it's like you continue that journey. And then it's like you step into that conditioning and your soul is not satisfied here. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like you like draining your soul. Like I know, like because it's like it literally felt like I was draining my soul for 5 years through that engineering job, because like I knew I didn't want to be there. Like, yeah, I'm making bread, like I'm traveling, but it's like when I go home, it's like, all right, it's cool. I gotta wake up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m. and go do it again. Go do something I don't want to
Yeah.
do again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's crazy. Like you really will, you really will find yourself. And I'm gonna wrap it up with this. It's like you really will find yourself like with so much more peace. Like whenever you do listen to that, like internal, like that soul, that spirit, because God is quiet. Like fear is loud, fear is noisy, but like God gonna be like, hey, this is what you should be doing. And it's gonna chill.
Yeah,
And it's like when you follow that voice, it
Mm-hmm.
just turns out so beautifully.
I did
You come with divine connections like this.
I did a one engineering internship my sophomore year of college with a buddy of mine in Salt Lake, and like it was fun like working like with my friend, and we were building out like SolidWorks models and doing the usual, and making airplane parts. And by the end of the summer, we had this joke that like we figured out like all the jobs we don't want. We were like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I don't want to be the guy that like organizes Excel tables for like 10 hours a day. Like I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to like file paperwork. And I just like going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think so much of growth is being real with yourself. Like no one's gonna be realer with you than like you're gonna be with yourself. And if you can have those conversations where you're like, all right, like I'm the one that has to wake up in this body every day. Like if I don't like my job, then like whatever they're paying me is not enough. Because like I have to wake up, I have to show up, I have to live it. And like I think we can do, like, it's not all jobs about jobs, you know, like we can do all sorts of things every day to like plant seeds in our reality that then make our reality like a more like amazing reality to wake up on. Like I recently started a garden.
Yes, exactly.
I've had so much fun with it. Like every day I like get to see if it's like a little taller, like the tomatoes are coming in. It's just like I enjoy my life more with the garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you taking that time to enjoy the process, enjoy the small things, like enjoy the growth. Like, cause it's like, it's crazy. Like I got a little garden in the front and it's like, just to see like, and then whenever it starts to like harvest, you like, damn, a whole plant came from this, you know, like that's how people, you know, it's like whenever you have kids and stuff, it's like you become this different person when you become present. And it's like parents have like this superpower. And then it's like you also like because it's like they were superhuman, but it's like whenever they in tune with their sole purpose and they superhuman, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's like it's the same thing with like a garden. It's like you see that little, and it's like it makes you more present in the moment, and then it makes you more present with your life, and then that's when the magic begins.
And I kind of think of like your business is like a garden in itself, you know, like I remember like I feel like I planted the seed of like this company Pyramid Realm like 3 years ago, you know, and like before anyone tells you it's sick, like it's just you and the seed and you're just like watering it, and like for like a year you don't even get a sprout maybe, and then like all of a sudden you like get a sprout, you watch it like grow, and like it brings such like meaning to your life. And now like I have this nightly routine where like right before I go to bed I make a bunch of I make 4 pyramids and I like set the molds and everything so that in the morning it's like Christmas morning, every morning I get to like take them out of the mold and see how they turned out. I don't know, it's about like big things for yourself.
It's small
like,
stuff,
those are so fire.
Yeah,
like I love those dudes. Like those are so fire.
Hell yeah.
I'll hook you boys up with some free pyramids. I can make that happen.
Oh yeah, I definitely put that in.
Bro, I still like I'm in this process where like I'm really just like thugging it out right now. I'm trying to like complete my beard. Like I'm trying to like look like I'm trying to look like a Sufi master or something like that. So I was like, because I got the shirt you sent me. I'm gonna take a picture in that.
All right, nice. Yeah, you were my model for at one point on the store.
Yeah.
I've since like moved to a different site, but
yeah, it's been so crazy though. It's just like I like was taking like different photos and stuff like that because I want to get more into like really like not really, because it's being perceived like on the internet to me is it's kind of strange to me in a sense. It's just kind of like, because not only that, because you know like like my whole Twitter following came like really fast and stuff like that, so it was almost to the point where like I don't consider myself famous or nothing like that at all, you know. Yeah. But like I'm known in that realm of like the internet and stuff like that. But it was just like so many people are perceiving me right now, and it's just like, and it was just like, but no, it's just like, but I want to get more into like actually like, you know, it's like showing like taking more photos and just showing more of my actual life. And
like documenting your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally feel it's crazy to me also like yeah, like if you're having 70,000 like profile visits a month or something, like about what like we're looking at, and it's like that's crazy to me, you know. And then you have people like come into your DMs. Like I had someone DM me the other day and they're like, dude, like my girlfriend and I have been like, we've been fighting, and like, I just don't know if like she's the one and I need to power through, or if I like, it's like a sign that I need to like go search for. I was like, bro, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't like, I don't want to like tell people how to live their lives or like take on that role. Like, it's just, but yeah, people like build up this mental image of you based on your tweets, which is one of the reasons that I started the podcast, is because it's so much more like real and authentic and like having genuine conversations, as opposed to people getting little like tad bits of text and then extrapolating this idea of who you must be.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never really I never really put too much thought into it like that, like being perceived from there, like until now. And it's like, it's crazy because like I'm sure we all get this like similar DMs, and it's like, that's why I do love podcasting. Like I would recommend that, and like coaching, you know, like actually like, if you know, it's like we are here to help and guide people. Like I think that's a good way to do it. And like that's something like I actually learned to embrace, you know, like if you'll come to the DM, I'm gonna help you figure out the answer for you, because I'm not telling you how to live your life.
Yeah.
I'm not your teacher. I'm not your guru. Like we both teaching each other. So like your experience I can learn from, and like my experience you can learn from. And so like that's why I really like the coaching aspect when it comes to that. You know, like if y'all ever want to get into that, like we could definitely shoot.
Yeah, because it's a great platform. That's why like I feel blessed to be able to use it and to like be able to reach people, because you do have this ability to like empower people and make a positive change in people's life if you use your platform correctly.
Mm-hmm. And like that's why I like to create different products, you know, like learning products, you know, like I like education, because it's like nobody's educating the people around us. Like nobody's saying, hey, like sit down with me, let's do this. You know, like we have our followers and then they see like tweets and stuff, but it's like that's a form of education. It's like take that one step deeper, and like that's why I created like these like e products, like ebooks and digital courses, because it's like you can actually send people to stuff and they get paid, instead of like saying, hey, go read this book, check out this YouTube video, hey, you know, because like we're actually teaching people, you know, we have something, like everybody has a message. And like that's why like I and it's like I can say this now because I'm so proud and like so happy, because it's like I just finished my course. It's called Soul Engineering, you know, and it's like I put the two together. Like the universe came to me in one short trip. It's like, hey, Soul Engineering Secrets. It's crazy. It's like both, you know, and it's like using your divine gifts and talents to manifest the reality that you want, you know, like, because it's like you have the ideas and it's like you put it together to show people like exactly what you're doing, show people exactly what you're doing, how you got to where you are. And it's like, you know, and it's like you kind of set yourself free from there, because it's like it is an interesting dynamic. People come into your DMs and like, you know, they don't, you know, you don't know them, they don't know you, but it's like you meet you get a lot of great connections, and it's crazy. It's like you attract these people, and it's like they calling out for help. They want some real shit, so give them the real shit.
I think something that's kind of like with me is like I never close my DMs and stuff like that, but like sometimes like my DMs is like kind of like nuts sometimes, like to the point where like it's overwhelming to the point where like sometimes it's like I have to like not be on Twitter. Like I haven't really been on there that much, honestly. That I haven't really been too active, other than like me posting like poems and things like that. But like but yeah, like, because I just don't want to give, like, if someone comes to me and asks me for that type of advice, like if I'm not in the position to like properly respond to you, like my full presence, like my heart and my soul, like I'm not even gonna waste your time. Like that's not, you know. And it's like, and in one way, and it's almost like a lot of people, what I feel like, you know, whether you say something on Twitter, it's like a lot of people will say, well, how? Like, say, how do you heal? Or like, how do you do that? Or how do you do this? Or whatever. And it's like, you know, I'm showing. No, it's just like, I can't tell you. I can only show you.
Yeah.
Like I'm showing you, like the way I embody like my truth and my essence is just no, the answer is behind my words.
Yeah, you got to do that for you.
Yes, it's the answer is in your patterns. Whatever you're consistent in, whatever fuels your soul, like that's how. Like those are the things you need to pursue. You know, that's how you do that.
And that's why I think we're great reminders of that, because that's all, that's all you're really telling people to do is to trust themselves and trust, because it's like, I'm not sitting here writing up a whole like paragraph. It's like, I'm gonna be present with you, but it's like, I'm gonna ask you a question, if I do have the, like, it's like, you have to be in the space to receive that and to be able to help. It's like, because you can't respond to like everything, everybody, like, of course. But it's like doing that, it's like actually asking them questions to help them like go and think it out themselves. Cause it's like, I'm the God of my life. I'm not God. Like I ain't got the answers for you. Like I have my way.
And you don't, like, I think you don't help people by enabling them.
Big facts.
That's something I've really been trying to like understand better myself is like, you don't want to give people the fish, you want to give them the fishing pole, And so like, yeah, like what you're saying, McCoy, of like how like you're showing like in your content how you've created a life for yourself that makes you happy, that like that you've fit the things that matter to you, like, and you live it and you make it work, and you like poetry and do this and like that. Like that's all. Like there's almost nothing that can be done over DMs. It's like I'm like this is my life. This is how I'm doing. Like I don't know if you should break up with your girlfriend, but like
no, and they gotta. And I forgot to add, they gotta pay for that advice.
Yeah.
So first off, it's like, cause it's like, it's like you want to get, it's like you give that energy, you want something to kind of be reciprocated, and you want to give value. So it's like, if you go do that, it's like, at least like where it be some kind of exchange for energy, like tarot readers, like people that do astrology, like the astrology charts. And it's like, cause it's like people, it's just like,
because even I believe with the whole reality in the realm of like spirituality, and it's like, and it's like using it as a form of like profit. Like there's no shame in that. Like we live in a world where you need to support yourself, unless that's the reality of it. Like to me personally, I wish money never existed. I say fuck
be
it.
A totally different person.
I don't really care about money like that, but like it's the world we live in. I'd be a fool not to get it. Like I'd be a fool. Like what I look like not getting money. Like that's the reality of it. Like
and you can go get your soul happiness at the same time.
Yeah, but it's just like but I also feel about like just me being like I was in the Navy for 7 years, and then I recently just got out. So I was just thinking to myself like, no, like that's not what I want to do. That's not what like some people usually do like 20 years in it, but like I just joined it for like a stepping stone. I knew it wasn't for me from the jump, but it's just like it's like whatever, if you're not doing what your soul wants you to do, like you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it, and it's just like I felt that feeling for the past like 7 years, and it's just like this 2020. It was that time that I just was like no, like I didn't even see myself in the military past 2020. In the beginning of it, I was like, no, I can't. I'm not doing this. It's like I'm about to get out the military, and like really like because like once the whole COVID and everything the shit started, it's like I started smoking like heavy. Like I started smoking heavy when I was in the military, still in the military. Like, because it's like at that point, like people are dying. Like what the fuck? So it's just like, here we are, and it's just like, it's just like I can't just kind of like ignore that. And it's just like we in the midst of that, just everything that's happening in the world and shit. So yeah, I started smoking, and then like I ended up popping on a piss test. Yeah, I ended up popping on a piss test with them, but because I already did like 7 years, like I got out. I got kicked out, but like I got to keep all my benefits because I've been in past like a certain amount of time. So like I got out. So yeah, So I ended up.
Worked
I
out.
was just like,
That's a win.
so I was just like, I really didn't like. Not to say I didn't give a fuck, because like I said, I got to take care of myself and my family and whatnot. But like, it was just the point where like I didn't need it anymore. I already acquired the things I needed from the military, the Navy. Like I had my house. I own a house. I got my cars. It's just like I'm good. Like I just kind of like, and I did it. And it was just like, there's nothing y'all can take from me if I leave. So it's just
Yeah.
like, I walked away. It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful. I tweeted something today just about like my new thing is like removing your presence. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
the ultimate power
Yeah.
move is like, okay, like I'm gone. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna go somewhere else. Like I can
Yeah,
do that.
dude. And it's like, you think about it, bro. Like when it comes to like working, like in the world, when it comes to like, like the actual labor, the workforce, like in the world, it's like most jobs we do this. It's like Monday through Friday or something like that, like 10 hours, even sometimes 12 hours a day. And it's just like, at what point in your life do you have other time to cultivate yourself, like on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then you're doing it again? And it's just like, we would say like, who made the world like decide what we were gonna do 5 days and 2? It was like, why we can't do 5 and 5?
Yeah, 2 work days. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're trying to win. Well, we're not
Yeah.
trying. That's like, the reality of like that, of things like that. Like that's just backwards. We need to
Yeah.
like,
It's like somebody winning.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
it
just
ain't the
like,
people that's working it.
yeah, it's just like, yeah, that's what this year showed us. Like really, it's just like the universe like sat everyone down and was like, nah, cultivate yourself. Like, nah, cultivate yourself. Sit down and
Spend that
cultivate.
time with you.
Yeah, and that's the
And that,
reality of it. And that's the reality of finding yourself and knowing that like if you really like don't base like don't base your life, don't base your life around getting money. Base your money, base all that around your life, the life you want to live. Like if that's
Mm-hmm.
you want the life that you want, like just like don't base it around money. The money is just the means to base it around that life. That's all it
Yeah.
is. It's just like, and that's the world we live in. So it's just like, that's where the focus has to be at.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying, like I don't know, you gotta have better tools. It's like where to put the different, where to put your like money, like different mindsets you have to be
Yeah.
on to like elevate to that. And it's like I appreciate that story, man. That's powerful. Hey, shout out to one time for removing your presence.
yeah, you removed your presence from the Navy. That's
Yeah, it's really because it's like I was almost like too, like I felt like I was living like double lives, really. Like it's just like people didn't even know I could grow a beard. Like now I have a full beard now. It's just people look at me like I'm crazy. It's like, no, I
2020 is
can
not
do it.
all bad. And Jade and I were just talking about kind of the positive aspects of 2020 to focus on. So
Mhm.
like it gave a lot of people time to like get introspective, and like you're so sad, like maybe the first time you realize like, oh, I can't go into my job anymore. Maybe you're bummed, but then after like a few weeks, you're like, well, did I like setting my alarm for 7 every day? Did I like that? Did I like what's important to me? What matters to me? Who am I? Like these are the questions that I think 2020 brought to the forefront for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate that I had to come and like in these circumstances, obviously, but there's a lot of positives. And I think the 9 to 5 construct is dissolving, like
Mhm.
these companies, they're not going back. There's no normal. There's no going back to the normal. It's a whole new world of entrepreneurship, and obviously the e-commerce game is really big right now. And yeah, I think we're gonna watch people slowly just like leave their job, like leave jobs. Like jobs are just gonna stop. Like some jobs are just gonna stop existing. like in
Yeah.
this new world, we have jobs that like are no longer required to run the society, and so we're gonna watch them kind of shift away as like society's always doing as we move forward. But at this particular moment, like we are in crazy times of change, and it's cool
Yeah.
to witness. You know, I try to
Yeah,
It,
you
it,
know,
it,
yeah.
and it's like when people talk about like the zodiacs and like the age of Aquarius and things like that, like in the golden age, because they said like the Aquarius is the age of Aquarius is the
Yeah.
golden age. So in reality, like I tweeted this a while back. It was like the reality of it. You know, if we're entering the golden age, or if we're in it now, like this is what we came here for. We came here for the real shit. We came here for the good shit.
yeah. It's where
We
the real
came
fun
here.
begins.
Yes, we came. Like, why else would we be here? Why else would we be experiencing what we're experiencing in this moment as a
Mhm.
collective? You know, it's just like here we are, like on this brink of like humanity, and it's just like so much is changing, and it's just like we chose to be here at this time of change, and that says a lot about our souls. Like
Yeah.
we could have chose to exist any other time, but no, we chose to be here. We
Right now,
chose
in
to be
in the mix,
in the mix.
in the
In the
mix.
mix. We chose to be here. And it's just
Yeah.
like we made that soul decision a long time ago. And that's why we're here. That's why we're actually having this conversation right now, because you may be in a time ago, like we even said, yo, you know, it's like at this point in time, this is what's gonna happen. It's just like here we are in that moment. It's just like, because you know, time isn't linear. Time is a spiral. It just keeps, you know,
Yeah.
just going every which direction. And, you know, it's like, and that's the reality of it. It's like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the
Man.
first things that I got really into in like my research was like time, like the like the Mayan belief systems and like
Mhm.
their world.
What is? Well, I'm not too versed. I'm not too versed in that. But like, what is that?
I mean, yeah, the Mayans were one of the civilizations that had very, very like cool beliefs about the cyclical nature of time and how we are perpetually like moving through these cycles, and it like corresponds to our like relative position in the galaxies, and they were
Mhm.
tracking these stars. They were doing like some crazy cool stuff that, and like they're true like prophecies about this time, about whatever 2012 was. It's never like some flip of the switch, like all of a sudden everything go like there's, you know,
Yeah,
it was
really. Honestly, like I said, really, like in that, like far as like reality, I feel like reality did shift. It was very like what people are expecting. You know, I think what a lot of people are expecting is like, you know, they're expecting like this major, like, you know, just this major catastrophic um thing to happen. But really what it is it's like that's not it. You know, it's just like it's what's happening, and it's all that's happening in the world, everything. That's just the surface of it, but it's just like it's more of what is it doing to like your heart? What is it doing to you as
Yeah.
a person? What is it doing to you as a soul? And then that's where that soul revolution takes place, and that's when that revolution, you know, that revolution doesn't get televised.
no, it doesn't. And
It doesn't. That happens within you, and only you can see that.
yeah, and another thing that the Mayans talk a lot about is like that would play a role in this shift would be the rise in the divine feminine. And
Mm-hmm.
like so much of what they predicted, you know, of like there would be chaos, you know, there would be like these end times where things are overrun with corruption and it all like the veil is pierced, like, and everything they said is like happening if you view it from a different perspective, you know, like there's a
Yeah.
huge rise in female empowerment, and I like it's great.
That's
It's
that's the
great for the world.
That's the thing. That's the thing I feel like about kind of like with absolute truth, almost in a sense. With absolute truth is like it's eternal. And it's like with that, it's like once you arrive to that, it's like an endless loop of it. It's just like, um, yeah, it's crazy. It's very.
It is crazy.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. What else, boys? What should we jump into? I've really been enjoying your Rumi quotes.
Oh, yeah, man, bro, like,
You got an interesting story when it comes to Rumi, man. Like,
bro,
yeah, I like how I like it.
no, it's bro, like, I don't know, like, some people, I don't know how people feel about it, like, really on Twitter. Like, I'm gonna just kind of be real about everything, like, with all that. Like, if this is like, I'm gonna just kind of just air all that out. Like, y'all mind? Y'all
No,
mind?
go for it.
Okay, here's the reality of that. It's crazy. I know it is. It's almost like, like I told like in the podcast, and I told in the podcast with we did earlier, like last month or sometime or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, like, how I seen like the phoenix in my face and whatnot. So it's just like that happened to me. I realized that when I was 19. Like I'm 30 now. So it's just like since then, like that moment I seen that in that photo of myself, like I've been looking for who I really was. Like like that there's a that's why I started getting into like poetry. I got into poetry, and then like the deeper I got into Rumi, like I realized, like, yo, he sees the same thing I see in myself.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized it's like I said, as crazy as it seemed, it was like he was telling me I was him. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. Like, what are you talking about? You want to become me. Like you want to, like this, and it's almost like it's so crazy. It was just like what it is we like it's like we share the same essence, like the shadow, the phoenix. We're connected through that, and it's just like he was telling me that it's just like, hey, like he's like, I don't know. It's when you look at the photo, you see it, right? Do you see it, Brandon?
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah. No, the wings across the forehead.
Yeah. No. Okay, the head. Okay, so like the head of the phoenix is in the middle of my face. Do you see that? No. On Twitter, and there's a black and white.
Yeah. No, I've seen the picture.
Okay, in the middle of my eyes, there's on my third eye, there's a shadow, and there's a shadow there, an extra shadow, and the shadow over my eyes makes wings, and the tail is under my nose. Just look at the photo real quick on your phone.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, just look.
Hey, but now it makes sense, like with what you're saying, like how, like, when you're on a journey to find yourself, it's like the beings and the powerful entities, like they actually do become you. It's like it's like souls will go, and like it's like we have like these angels that come in, and it's like we start to become those, and it's like it's crazy because it's like I be seeing that like whenever like I'll like read the Bible and like Jesus' story and like how that like how his energy resonates in the Buddha and like these different powerful beings that had these like major impacts on the world. Like we still talking about these people hundreds of thousands of years later, and it's like it's dope that you say that because like I fully get what you're saying. It's like that energy is powerful, and it's like that divinity goes through the beings. Like we all are that powerful. Everybody is a Jesus. Everybody is a Rumi. Everybody is a prophet. But it's like you just got to see it in yourself.
Self-recognition through the other, like
yeah.
For me, I think my Rumi is I pulled up the image just now, by the way, but I think my version of Rumi is Mac Miller. Mac Miller for me, like he like ascended my mind to like a new state of consciousness to explore, and like it was always within me, but I think like especially for me, like at the time of my awakening, of like I was in such a frat boy mindset of like girls parties, like so I was already listening to Mac Miller, like I was like his early stuff, of like like Get Rich, like all like his like the start of his journey. And then I kind of like like followed, and I feel the same way about J. Cole too,
Oh yeah,
of like
those guys. Those
the
guys. They knew who they were.
evolution of these artists to where then they start like it's less about drugs, money, booze, bitches. Like it becomes about like oppression and like standing up for what they think is right and expressing the truth as they see it. And
Mm-hmm.
like that just opened my mind to like, oh, how how they view life itself, you know, of like they view it as like this opportunity for creative expression. And once I started to like view life like that, like I could never let it go. Like it's a much more fulfilling, fun way to experience life, I think, is to view it with those the eyes of a creator, you know?
Oh yeah, once you take the limits off, it's all going. It's like once your mind is stretched to, I think it was an Albert Einstein quote. He was like, once your mind is stretched to new dimensions, it's like you can't go back to the old way of thinking. It's like you're a totally different person now. It's like once you take off them limits, and it's like the limits that people place on you that you didn't kind of absorb, and like that you didn't thought people think this about you, and you start to internalize it. You know, once you take the limits off, the limited beliefs, the old mindsets, like it's crazy. It's like the magic really comes.
It is. It made me like that's another thing I think like a lot of people don't understand about like me and like to why I am like the way I am is like I am so like curious and passionate about like the human potential, you know? Like I think we have like I think we're so incredibly powerful and magical, and like the best way to like demonstrate that to other people and or to like is to prove it to yourself. Like stop I'm trying to prove it to other people how powerful they are. Like I want to prove to myself how powerful I am. Like step into that, and by doing that, like inspire other people to do the same.
Man, I totally feel you on that. And I was thinking about this earlier in the conversation. I'm glad you brought that up. It's like humans have we're so divine, and we have the ability to adjust and to adapt to how society, how the world, and how life is. Like, you know, just think about the iterations of humans along the way. Like, for better or for worse, it's like we're still here. And it's like, so it's like to be able to adapt to different things, it's like I believe everybody is divine and powerful. Like, and it's like I have no worries that we're gonna make our adjustment into the future, and like, and then see the future that we want to see is like on some Star Wars type shit. Like I just finished watching that, so like it's like that's what I be thinking about. I'm like, you see like humans like doing light speed and going and like doing politics with aliens and all these different types of things, and it's just like it just make you think, and I'm just like,
that's the reality I want.
No, that's when I knew something was wrong. Like I know we live in a sci-fi world, you know, like I know that reality is like that. And then like
it is.
I feel like in high school I was like, all right, this is bullshit, but whatever, like I gotta get into college. You know, like college is the real shit. College is when like you get in that Star Trek school or Star Wars school where they like train you on your Jedi powers. And I was
that's
like,
true as hell.
And then like I got to college and I was like, okay, like it's a new game. Like I gotta step up, like I gotta step it up. Like doing engineering, whatever. And like
but that's still learning Jedi tricks and stuff.
It was problem sets, it was teachers that kind of care. It was like, and I just became so like disenchanted by the illusion that like it like I almost dropped out. Like I was really close to dropping out my like I think junior year. I called my mom. I was like, I'm out. Like
engineering to do that to you, man.
I want to invest in myself. I want to like stop wasting all this time doing problem sets. Like I want to like my education, like, and especially like when you're paying, you know, like we have like these kids going like $80,000-$100,000 in debt to get an education, and they're not being prepared for the world that they're entering, you know, like, and it's, I don't know, it's one of the things that like I'm the most passionate about is like changing the education system, because I think if you change the education system to like, instead of like distract people from their gifts or to like pin people against each other, it's all competition. Like if you change the education system to make it such that like people are empowered to like explore like their own curiosities and like to kind of like discover their divine purpose through the education and have it be a resource for them, then like I think all of society benefits from that.
Yeah, really, really, 'cause someone needs to like create a like a like a school like of the school of like mutants like on X-Men. That's what we really
It
that's
already
what
exists.
someone really needs to do. Like we need to like someone that's like that would be, and that sounds crazy. I mean it's
Nah,
crazy.
nah, I love
It's
it.
Not
crazy.
crazy.
I like where you're going
Yeah.
with this.
But it's like that's really what it is, man. It's just like because what I believe, just like with everything that I believe, like as far as like mysticism, like your soul, love, God, everything, like Rumi, Shams, all that I believe in. It's like it lets me know that like there's something beyond us. Like we've been fed from that. That's why we look for more than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why what B was saying, like with the education system, like I like we got to create it, because
Yeah.
it's like they literally have these systems in place as we know,
And,
like even with the military to take away from our creative powers, to take
yeah.
away that
And
power. And it's
really,
crazy. It's all energy,
yeah.
and it's
And
like I love that the School of Mutants.
yeah.
Like I was just talking to some of my homies about that, like
Mhm.
having we was talking about like Harry Potter and like having one of those schools like for wizards and witches, and like it's just crazy. It's like because that's what we are, you know. It's like people need to remember the divinity within themselves, and it's like it just makes you like move different.
Mm-hmm.
We've had schools like that on Earth in our history, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I think I think those schools are still here today. Like I think there are magic schools for sure, stemming all the way back from Egyptian times, Atlantean times, you know, like there's always been segments of the population that are fixated on completely like embodying and transcending their own divinity, and it's like I think those are the people that end up making a massive like difference. Like, and they might not even make it in the history books, but the people that like preserve our spiritual understandings and our own history too. Like I think that there's a lot of powerful networks that
Mm-hmm.
It's
out of the
crazy.
mainstream.
It's crazy you say that, because it's like I think about like these powerful beings like Rumi and like Jesus, like they have like these stories, you know, they just powerful beings, but it's like I just think about like Jesus, like he started the ministry at 12. You don't know what happened between 12 and 33, like what type of schooling he was in, like what type of like people he was around, like, you know, for him to be at 33 and make the impact that he made in the world. And it's like you said, like they do have these, like they must have these schools, and like, you know, it's like they got to be in different pockets, because it's like these powerful beings come out the woodworks, and it's crazy to see. It's really it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just like I do believe we're truly living in like in times where like the veil of the universe is being lifted. Like it's being lifted over our eyes. Like there's like once you see yourself on the other side of the veil, it's almost like you can step in and out of it. It's just like like I think that's one thing too with anyone grasping like new age concepts and stuff like that in this time period, in this time, it's like it's about staying grounded within that. It's just like, whenever you perceive these things like with your mind, it's like these things are endless. Like information is
Yeah.
endless. like I think it's one thing that I've learned throughout this journey of like spirituality, and this is like everything I believe about myself, is that is the things that you take in, like some of it you have to take it in and let it go completely out. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like certain, like all information is not information you need to know. It's the quality of the things that you need to know. It's not about how much you know. It's what you know. It's what you feel, what changes you, what gets your soul
And
moving, what makes your energy get to going.
if
You
it's
know,
not, if it's not applied knowledge in your life, I like 100% agree. You know, like so
Mhm.
I'm similar where I think like you can go down like there's infinite rabbit holes that you could jump down, and like there's so much information out there, but like and this is what I've been trying to like more cater my content towards, like the real stuff that like will change your life is like so simple. You know, it's like going through with like a concept of maybe just like, okay, I'm done seeking out revenge on people. Like whatever. Like it's easy to like say it as an idea and to like conceptualize it spiritually, but then it's another thing to like embody it. And like when there's moments where you have a chance to seek revenge, to like actually like choose not to, you know. And like, but yeah, just going back to what you're saying, McCoy, I 100% agree that like that really like the truest knowledge is just the knowledge of self. And
yes,
I like what y'all were saying, and like having that foundational knowledge. You know, it's like being kind of like, you know, like having like, you know, a good foundation. And like I like to use the analogy, I like to use I like to talk about God being the foundation, because like it helps me to stay centered, or a higher power, believing in something like within myself that's outside of myself and it's all around me. And so it's like, you know, like keeping that like in mind, you know, like I think about like people treat people how they think God treats them. You know, whether you have a fearful idea of God, and like in another Albert Einstein quote, he was saying like, he was saying something about like the manifestations of your life is based off the belief whether you believe the universe is hostile or welcoming. You know, so it's like all about like your belief about God, about the universe. What do you believe about it? Like, do you believe it's on your side? Do you believe that it's fighting against you? Do you have to prove yourself to be worthy? And you know, it's like all of these different ideas on the divine that we've been fed, like they create false beliefs.
mm-hmm.
And so like I always like to just improve like your vision of like God and yourself, like when it comes to that.
I think maybe like the biggest like programmed lie that like I see on a mass scale is like that the universe is like a place of scarcity. You know,
Yeah.
like so
Abundance.
much of our worldview of like how like everything on this earth is like based on the idea that there's not enough for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
like
And
we
it's
don't,
lies.
and it's lies. Like
It's lies.
it, the universe is abundant, you know, and it's your mindset. And if you're locked into a scarcity mindset, then you create scarcity. And if you lock into an abundant mindset, then like you create abundance. And I think that's like what we're on the cusp of, is like we can like we now like have what it takes to take on like problems such as homelessness and poverty, and like do it. And it's like it's not gonna, I don't even know if it'll happen all in our lifetime, and there's always like I think suffering, but now from an engineering standpoint of like all right, there's X amount of people, we have enough food to feed people, and we have
Yeah.
enough shelter to house people. And so we need to start developing systems that kind of reflect the ethics that we believe in, you know, that
Yeah,
we
that can help benefit the universal, like the universal, you know, where it's not like you have to do this for me to give you this. It's like, well, like this is the right thing to do. It's like we're helping each other get to the next level, and it's like we all prosper as a unit instead of like
it's
Because
different.
the reality of it is like, you know, the saying, the phrase, like on earth as it is in heaven.
yeah
You know, like that's where, you know, like this whole idea of like heaven, you know, like outside of us, like it's, you know, it's good to the mind. It's good to think about that, what happens, you know, like after death of your time here. But in this present moment, like you can feel heaven right now, you can feel hell right now too. And like, you know, why not give that to yourself now?
Yeah.
Like that's what the saying is, like almost in the saying, like being reborn, like die before you die. And the reality of that, like the Prophet Muhammad said that. So the reality of that is if you die to self before you die, really in the sense of that, why would you need to die? Because that's the reality of that's what the saying mean. The meaning of that is to die before you die.
And
Like to
I
self
I think
born like a phoenix. Like that's the reality of like, I don't know, it's crazy.
it's
It's
and
crazy.
when you die to self, like I feel like one of the things that happens the most is like the release of fear. You know, like when you die to yourself, when you realize like I am part of this whole, you know, I am part of one and we are all interconnected, and like you really start to like understand that, then like I feel like naturally there's less of a fear of death, you know, like I feel like a lot of people live, especially in these days with quarantine and everything, like they live in a perpetual fear of death. And I just like I just like I don't know, I'm not afraid of death anymore. It's like the
It's the
most like it's beautiful. Like it doesn't matter to me, like
Like, cause it's so crazy. Like, because it's just like, if you know, it's like this. If you know what your essence is, you know and feel your energy, you know your heart's intention, you know your mind's capacity, you know your soul's desire, all that. And if this is who you are, if this is who you are in your shell, if that's this soul that's in your shell, if this is like this now, what do you think is gonna be like that without the body? Like you're sending me. You're sending me. You're gonna let me know what's beyond, like, you know, the body. Like if I were to physically die. So it's just like that's what's just like, it's not being afraid. You know, like it's not being afraid of death. Really, what it is, I think it's what it is it's just knowing that you're gonna hurt some people. That's the reality of dying. It's just knowing you're gonna hurt some people. You know, it's like almost like, you know, when you create these connections with people in love, you know, as much as we say, like, you know, we try to like not create attachments with people and things like that. Like when people do like die and stuff like that, we hold that bodily like attachment to them and stuff like that. But like, the actuality of it is like their souls are still here, their souls are still everywhere. They become they become us, they become the air, they become the trees, they become everything. They return to the essence
yeah,
endless of
it's like
be. Yeah, it's
people not taught, like, you know, it's like we're not, like most people, like we're not taught like about souls, and then we get this fear program. And you know, it's like it, with just like this year within quarantine, you have the news coming at you 24/7, you have religion, you have like all of these different things that are like coming and hitting you. It's like a boxing match, and
mm-hmm.
it's like you don't know where it's hitting you, and it's like, and it's because of the program you haven't practiced, you haven't like kind of gave yourself the ability to like free form and move.
yeah, I
And
think
so
that
it's
one of like the catalysts in my personal awakening was definitely like the death of my grandma, like sophomore and a sophomore year of college. And like it was the first time I'd like really like thought about death, you know, and like had someone
It
close
makes you
to me pass. And
it makes you realize your own mortality.
oh
yes,
yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
but at the same time I also like I just always felt her presence almost like guiding me, like and
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I posted a story on my Instagram. I don't even know if I've told my friends about this, but I posted a story, and it was about like the soul, you know, and like it's immortality. and I checked and like was looking at who had viewed my story on my Instagram, and like my grandma who had passed away like 3 months earlier had like somehow like viewed the story, and I was just like, it's just one of those moments where I was like, damn, like I always, yeah, I feel your presence. Like I miss being able to like hang out with you in the human on human way of communication and talking and whatever, but like I still feel you. Like
there's an inside language.
Totally,
and it's like how we're taught about death. You know, it's like like most of us are taught like you go to heaven or hell. It's no in between. It's no, but it's like the souls are you know, like they are like going into the interdimensions. You know, into like different time zones, and like they're always here and always around. And it's like, it's crazy. Like I look at like, it's crazy you brought it up like grandmas. It's like I look at like my two younger cousins, like I see like my grandmother and then like in my other little cousin, I see her grandmother, and it's like how they interact with people, and like if people say the wrong thing, like they give off that Momo energy, and it's like she ain't went nowhere, you know. It's like because I lost my grandmother or my grandmother transitioned in '09, my freshman year of college, and so like now I'm like seeing like my little cousins like a reincarnation. I'm just like, life is crazy. Y'all powerful, man. Like I just be trying to remind my little cousins and like all my family how powerful they are, because like we are the incarnations of our ancestors. Like we came here to guide the next generation of our families.
How young are your cousins?
The one I'm talking about right now, she is 26, and the other one just turned 21.
Nice.
And like, man,
my little brother, in 2 days he's turning 13, and then the other one is 10. But it's, I don't know, it's crazy. I think how much of a like impact our families have on us too, and like, yeah, like I was talking to Jade about it before you jumped in, McCoy, but how like they're just wonderful children are, you know, and just like to be around them. And I know like you have a kid, so you probably get it more than
like
they're so like
I was thinking about that,
full of life, and they remind you of your own essence, you know, and like who you were before you were programmed to be someone else. Like what was like, who was that? And that's your soul. That's your
kids, the real teachers.
They really are. It's
like with my son, like I was thinking about that earlier. I was looking at him, I was just thinking to myself like cause you can feel the pureness in them, and all the time. And it's just like his kids are such a blessing to have, because they, you know, like I'm, you know, as I'm teaching him things and things like that, in reality he's teaching me things. Like I'm growing with him. Like I never had a 2-year-old. Like I've never had a 3-year-old. I never had a 4-year-old. I'm never gonna have an anything-year-old until it happens. Like there's a time where I'm gonna have an 18-year-old son, and like, who is my son gonna be? Who am I gonna be by then? And it's just like, I'm gonna keep growing. My son is gonna get my influence. My son is gonna be. My son is gonna, whatever influence I have, my son is gonna take it. He's gonna take it with whatever he becomes, and it's gonna be a mix of that. So it's like, that's so crazy. It's just like, having a kid in this world is like, because that's you. That's, in a sense, like my son is like my being.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's
real life.
That's my being.
That's crazy.
Do you want to know who you kind of remind me of, McCoy? Do you ever listen to Code of the Friend?
Yeah.
I feel like you got Code of the Friend vibes.
Yeah, for real. That's what it is. It's like having a kid, man. It's like, it's so crazy. Especially because I lost my father in 2016 from cancer, and that really fucked me up, because, you know, I'm the baby in my family of 7 other kids, right? So it's just like, I've never lived in a world where where these people, where my dad never existed, and it's just like, now it's just like that was like a traumatic point in my life at that time period. And it's just like, I don't know, it kind of like thrusted me more into being like the man I need to become for my family. you know. It's like I have like so many sisters. I have a older brother. Like his name is Henry too. Like no bullshit. Like that, his name is Henry too. Because I don't know, like, cause my dad was in the Air Force, and my dad would wild out. Like my dad was in the Philippines. In the Philippines. I guess my dad was just out there fucking bitches, like going crazy. Cause like I said, okay, it's how it is. So I have my brother, my brother and my full-blooded sister are 30 days apart. And yeah, and at 30, I was just like, so when I learned that, my dad told me that when I was younger, I was just like, wait, I was like, it's like, so you are out here wilding. That's what I said to my dad. I was like, you are out here wilding. Like, and it's just kind of like, um, it's so crazy. It's just like, I learned, I cannot, now that my dad has passed and now that I'm older now, and like, you know, a lot of those things that like I seen in my dad, and I always used to think that I would never see in myself. This is like, as I'm getting older, like I'm seeing like the reason why my dad was the way he was. And it's just like, I kind of forgave him for that. Like even after his death, I think that's what made me, that's where I needed to heal in that aspect of like forgiving my dad for not being perfect.
I had a really interesting like family situation growing up myself. Like I was raised by a single mom. And so I didn't even like meet my biological dad until I was like, I think 6 or 7 years old. But like me and my mom were just always like super close, super close. And then she was dating someone named Johnny when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and they ended up getting engaged, and then they like were about to get married, and they called off the wedding. And what's so interesting is I just like have, it's so messy, but I just like ended up loving all of like the different branches of my family. Like I ended up staying really close with the man that raised me when I was a kid that was like dating my mom. And then I ended up like developing this really like healthy, cool relationship with my biological dad. And then when I was like 9 years old, my mom like got married, and that's where my like 2 little brothers are from. And like all 3 of like my dads are so like very, very different. But I like just found like ways to relate and understand like them and this whole like situation we found ourselves in. And like we don't live in a cookie cutter world, you know. The 2 kids from 2 like a mom and a dad, and the like son, daughter, and a pet, like it's not always like that. And I think that's one thing that's so cool about like love, is it transcends all of it. Like it transcends any circumstance, any like skin tone, any like all of it. Like when we get down to it, like if you're willing to like meet someone where they're at and like love them and like show like respect to them, like we can all come together. And I think that's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do on Twitter, and it's cool. I'm gonna call it on that, just because I feel like that's a good place to call it. But thank you guys so much for coming on and spending your Thursday night with me.
Oh,
For
man.
sure. Appreciate you, man. This is great, man.
Yeah, I'll have you guys come back on soon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure. Appreciate it, man. This is great, man.